Good morning and welcome. My name is Kim Linloff. I'm with the Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here to Thomas College. I am Thomas alum, so it's doubly pleasurable. Thank you to our 2018 Business Breakfast Series sponsors. They include AT&T, Cross Insurance, People's United Bank, Nicholson, Michaud and Company CPAs, O'Donnell, Lee, McCowan and Phillips, attorneys at law. Our print media sponsor is the Morning Sentinel, and our radio sponsor is 107.9 The Mix. I want to ask you to please turn off your cell phones in consideration of our speakers and our TV audience. This is being taped by Crossroads TV in Fairfield, so it's rebroadcast on Spectrum Cable, channel 1301. It's also being Facebook live streamed right now by the Colby radio station. Jiggs is here from WMHB, so don't say anything you don't want everybody to hear live or recorded. I also hope you had a chance to visit our spotlight tables out back. Today they featured Goodwill Hinckley, Raymond James, and Spectrum Generations, and we'll be doing 3 door prize drawings at the end for prizes that they've donated. I also want to thank our board members that are here this morning. If you can take an opportunity, raise your hand. I appreciate you being here, and if anybody has any feedback for the chamber, they can give it to the staff or any one of our directors. Let's see, we did the cell phone thing. Okay, upcoming events. On Tuesday, December 11th from 11:30 to 1, the Chamber is going to host a leadership luncheon at Mmcb's. It's featuring Don Chernewski. He is the general manager of Duck Trap River of Maine. And then on the 12th, we have our business after hours from 5:30 to 7 at the Hathaway Creative Center in the Waterville Creates Common Street Art Space. And we're doing that event as combined with KV Connect, the Young Professionals Group, so that should be a lot of fun. We're also kicking off our 2019 Business Breakfast Series in January with our guest speaker, Giovanni Twiggy, Corporate VP and Chief Human Resources Officer at IDEX. And Giovanni's going to touch on how to attract and retain talent at your business. If you want to sign up for any of these events, just give us a holler. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Joy McKenna. She is our second vice chair, soon to be our incoming chair, and she's going to introduce our speaker this morning. Joy?
Use a microphone, they said. Don't stand by the podium, they said. Oh, yeah, and it's live. So, okay. I'm really happy that everyone's here. Thank you all for coming out this morning. Thank you for being here, Lisa. I have the great pleasure of working with her and her organization. So here's her bio. Lisa DeSisto is the Chief Executive Officer for Maine Today Media, which publishes the Portland Press Herald, Maine Sunday Telegram, Kennebec Journal, and the Morning Sentinel. In August 2017, Lisa assumed the same role for the Sun Media Group, which publishes the Lewiston Sun Journal, the Forecaster newspapers, 6 regional newspapers in Western Maine, and niche magazines, including Maine Women Magazine. The network expanded in 2018 with the addition of the Biddeford Journal Tribune, Brunswick Times Record, Mainly Media weekly newspapers, and the Ellsworth American and Mount Desert Islander. Busy woman. And even add on to that, Lisa sits on the board of the Maine Press Association, the Associated Press, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare Foundation, and the Boys and Girls Club of Southern Maine. She also serves as an advisor for the Olympia Snow Women's Leadership Institute, working directly with a group of students at Winslow High School to develop their values, voice, and vision. Lisa is a host of a live event series, Like a Boss, where she interviews other Maine CEOs on their leadership principles. Before joining Maine Today Media in November 2012, Lisa spent 17 years at the Boston Globe, where she served as Chief Advertising Officer and General Manager of Boston.com. Lisa is a 1985 graduate, I almost made you younger, of the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and lives with her family and a herd of goats and alpacas in North Yarmouth. Please join me with a warm welcome for Lisa DeSisto.
Well, good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here. As I was driving up 104, as Joy mentioned, I live in North Yarmouth, and I was so delighted to see all the Kennebec Journal delivery tubes along the road, and then you hit this magic point and they transform into Morning Sentinel boxes, and I just don't understand this, how you decide if you're a Sentinel or a KJ family, but it's a thing, and we respect it, so I'm always so heartened to see all of our customers out there when I drive. Thank you to the Mid-Maine Chamber for inviting me to be with you. I'm also delighted the Morning Sentinel is a sponsor, and all of you just being here, connecting as business leaders. It's just great how you share your expertise and come together to figure out how to grow your businesses and also how to continue to add vitality to the area. We are so excited about everything that's happening in Waterville. It's great for all of your businesses. It's great for the newspaper business. So yay, yay to that. I also know a number of our advertisers are here this morning. So you guys are the marketing geniuses because you understand where to advertise and how to get results. So we thank you for your continued business. I met Cindy Stevens, first advertiser ever, who is still with us from Ware Butler, so we thank you for that. I also wanted to introduce my colleagues who are here this morning. Cindy Stevens is the Regional Advertising Director for the Central Maine newspapers, who has a holiday shopping day planned with her sisters, which you should really broadcast live. That is more of an economic lift than anything I can think of, but I'm sure many of you know Cindy. And Betsy Weiss and Amanda Guilford are both media consultants. Betsy joined us recently, and it's like she's been here forever, so we thank you for that. She covers the Augusta area, and Amanda is Skowhegan and everything above that, which is a pretty big territory. So Bridget Campbell is our Director of Business Development, and Bridget is the idea machine. So many of the things that I'm going to talk about today originated in Bridget's brain, and are opportunities for all of you. So I have something really special to share. As Joy was talking about, when I first joined the company 6 years ago, we were 3 newspapers, 3 daily newspapers. And now we're 6 daily newspapers and 23 weeklies and a mess of websites and some niche magazines. And so what I'm going to share with you today is how we're kind of bringing all of these together as a network under one brand. And this is still kind of in draft form, so little freaked out. It's on the internet right now, and I know my mother's probably watching. But really excited to share it with you. So let me see how we can make this happen.
We are news, community, daily, weekly, watchdog. We are digital, independent, leading, innovative, comprehensive, vital. We are a network of local news and media outlets which together form an essential part of daily life in Maine. We are the largest media group in the state that produces both independent journalism and local stories that matter. We are built on tradition and ready for the future. From heritage newspapers and commercial printing to interactive websites, from beautiful lifestyle magazines to diverse live events. Our brands are relevant and vital to Maine residents and businesses. We reach readers and consumers in every corner of the state directly, impacting their lives every day. We are trusted partners in developing comprehensive marketing solutions that extend beyond print, beyond banner ads, beyond the usual. We have unprecedented opportunities to connect your message to our audiences. Whether broad or targeted, we have impact. We are Masthead Maine, the state's largest media network. Masthead Maine. We deliver newspapers, audiences, impressions, ideas, results.
So that's how we're making sense of how we brought together all of these different media properties. We want to make it easy for people to do business with all of us. So we've come up with the brand for the network. It's Masthead Maine. We love it because it's got double meetings. First of all, Masthead is every day in the newspaper, which tells you the leadership at the newspaper, and then, of course, Masthead is also a critical component of your sailing vessel. So we're excited about this. And what this means is if you work with Betsy or you work with Amanda, in addition to bringing you opportunities in the Central Maine newspapers, the KJ and the Morning Sentinel, they can also get you access to this entire network. So we are excited about it. And I also know with small business owners, you get numerous solicitations from so many different media companies, but also people selling digital products, and we hope that this kind of streamlines the communication from our company through one point of contact. So we'd love your feedback on it, on how things are going right now. If you deal with multiple properties in the network, we think this is going to be an easier experience for you. So, let's see. I shared with you all of the properties in the network. We also, our online reach is pretty significant across all of our websites. Our primary websites are pressherald.com, centralmaine.com, and sunjournal.com, but it's 3 million users per month and 13.5 million page views. So I like to say that while our print circulation may have declined over the years, our online audience has grown, and through social media, more people than ever are exposed to our journalism, which creates more marketing opportunities and ways for you to interact with our audience. So let's talk specifically, though, about the properties here in Waterville. You know, the Morning Sentinel has been around since 1904. And a few years ago, we did something a little crazy. We had the KJ and the Sentinel, they had separate websites. So we brought them together under one brand, centralmaine.com, to make that a bigger experience, and also really to combine our resources. And then it was just 1 year ago that we combined our Sunday newspapers to bring you Central Maine Sunday, which offers a bigger experience for our readers. We know that the markets are distinct, though. As I mentioned, there's this like one magic spot on Route 27 in Belgrade, again, where it goes from the KJ to the Morning Sentinel. There are these two houses that are right across the street from each other. One's a KJ, one's a Sentinel. So we know people identify with the different markets, and we respect those distinctions. And we've done it on Sunday, but we have not done it the other 6 days a week, really just to keep that individual coverage of the different towns that we have. As you can see over on, I guess, my left, your right, the Sentinel goes to 41 towns daily. Central Maine Sunday goes to 77 towns. The current circulation of the Sentinel is 7440. And then the readership, it's 2.1 readers per copy, which is something that we have used in the newspaper industry for years. I don't really understand the 0.1, but I always go with it. So that's how we come up with our readership number. I don't know if you find our demographic profile interesting. We're really kind of split male-female in print. On digital, we're a little bit more female than we are male. And what do you think about the print ages? So the average age of our print reader is 49 and digital is 46. I bet most of you are surprised by that and would think that the distinction would be more of a gap. But it isn't, and the numbers don't lie, supposedly. Centralmaine.com, as I had mentioned to you, it's a little bit more female than male. This is our traffic from the month of October. So on Central Maine alone, we had 2.8 million page views. And you can see the top states and towns that access us. 65% of our traffic is in Maine, which means that a lot of our traffic comes from out of state, from snowbirds or other people who love Maine, like so many do. And Augusta's the #1 community, followed right by Waterville. One of the interesting things that we see is that mobile is, here in Central Maine, is the #1 way that people access our website, whereas in Portland, desktop is first. So we see much more mobile penetration here in this market, which is something important for all of you to think about as you're putting your marketing strategies together, that if you don't think about how to take advantage of mobile marketing opportunities, you're really, you're really missing a big piece of the audience. So I positioned my talk as about storytelling, so it's time to tell a story. It's probably a little bit hard for you to see this, but it is a letter to the editor that I received from one of our readers, and his name is Harold Booth. Does anyone know Harold? Okay, so believe me, many people do when I get into the story. So earlier this year, the Trump administration imposed a tariff on newsprint that actually has since been revoked. But for the newspaper industry, that was very, very scary. Our #1 expense behind people is paper. So paper rates were climbing 25%. So we scrambled to figure out how we could save on paper. So one of the ways that we did it was we looked at all the days of the week, and we thought about where we could cut back pages. So one day that we could cut back was Thursday. And on Thursday, we offer a full page back and front of TV listings. Now, every other day of the week, we have TV listings for that day and the next 2 days coming. So we figured, if we already have the listings the other 6 days a week, let's just eliminate that 7-day TV listing. And, I'm focused on the customer when I'm like, who reads the paper for TV listings anyway? I mean, don't people just use, the clicker and look at the guide? And who actually even watches TV anyway? Thinking about what time is a show on. I mean, isn't everyone just binge watching Netflix? These are the same people that rely on the newspaper for their Red Sox scores when you can get it a million different places. This is my mentality. So wrong. So not focused on the customer at all. People really rely on the newspaper for their Red Sox scores and their high school sports scores. And Harold Booth loves our TV listings. And in fact, when we don't print them on consecutive pages, he previously, because I checked my email, had sent me a note saying that they were broken when they weren't back to back. Because so many of our readers actually take the TV listings out and they put them on their coffee table and they use it as a guide. So I see some people shaking their head out there going, that's exactly how I do it. I do want to say the TV listing page is an unbelievable untapped marketing opportunity because we have thousands of readers that use this religiously. So Harold writes a letter to Ben Bragdon, who does our letters to the editor for both the KJ and the Sentinel. And Ben sends it to me, and he's like, Lisa, this guy's taking you on in this letter. I'm like, bring it. We don't edit the letters to the editor if they're negative about the newspaper. You have to be really transparent and take a few shots. So Harold challenged all of the readers to email me and say that they wanted the TV listings back. He actually did the math on how little it cost us to run that page of newsprint. So I received dozens and dozens of letters from people. I got phone calls. I got handwritten notes. People are really passionate about their TV listings. So back they came, and Harold, we had a few, I hope he's not watching, we had a few terse correspondence because he didn't think that I was moving fast enough, and he told me specifically to keep track of this correspondence because my successor would be interested in this. So I did do that. It's in the Harold Booth file, and but my point in telling this story is, my gosh, you got to listen to your customers and don't assume your own priorities and habits are what your readers are experiencing every day. So the closer we can get to our customers, the more you know about their needs and the more you can tailor your marketing to keep them as customers, and then also figure out who the lookalikes are that you can attract as new customers. So there's my Harold story. Yes, there it is. Our readers are loyal, and man, they don't like change. So yeah, that's a thing. That's real. So I wanted to talk for a second about earned media. And and give you some ideas and some takeaways on how you can get your stories told in our newspapers. So what you really need to do is build relationships with our newsroom. So here they are. These are the folks that you should be having conversations with and building relationships with. And if you're on social media, please, by all means, follow them. How many people are on Twitter? So it's not a huge Twitter audience. I happen to love Twitter. I don't know why. I have a lot of fun with it. But if you want to know what the reporters are up to, it's a great way to follow them, to understand where they are throughout the day, to think about how their stories are developing, what are the kinds of things that they're talking about, so you can think about how to tailor your message to them. The other thing, as Masthead, Maine, if your story appears in the Morning Sentinel, it also has the potential to appear in any of our other newspapers throughout the network. And through social sharing, you never know what story is going to take off. Sam Shepard, who was one of our reporters out of the KJ, wrote a story I like to call Frygate, when Bowley's decided to eliminate, so you all know this story, the crinkle-cut fries, and they went to the straight fry. And people were outraged by it, and so it started off as kind of a whimsical story, really struck a chord with people, and that story was shared really widely, well out of the state of Maine, anyone that had had those fries through the years. So I guess my point is that our journalism isn't appearing just in the Sentinel. It really has the opportunity to go wide. And you should think about the stories that you can bring to our reporters. So Scott Monroe, who's the executive editor at the Morning Sentinel, gave me these tips on how to get your pieces in the Sentinel. Okay? So calling or emailing in the morning is always best. And if you don't get a response within 24 hours, try once again. Again, being aware of what time the email call is taking place. Afternoon, it's just like showing up at a restaurant trying to sell them an ad at lunchtime. You just don't do it. So afternoon, they're all on deadlines. So morning is really, that's the magic hour to pitch your story. Always be direct and to the point, and think, of course, of the five W's. And the other thing that he'd like you to do is suggest photo possibilities. So the papers are really visual. So if you have a grand opening or a special event or a ribbon cutting, also pitch what that photo potential could be as well. And if it's event-based, we need as much notice as possible. So don't call them this morning and say, hey, the tree lighting is tonight. We really do have limited resources, and they like to plan out where our two exceptional photographers are going to be. In advance. Of course, breaking news, then, all bets are off. But you can't call the day before. It's just tough to accommodate that. Also, I'm sure many of you know Nancy Marshall. I'm part of her network, as she wrote about recently, and she gave me this great idea when she's thinking about pitching stories to newsrooms. And that is to think about a national trend, and then think about what the local angle is. So oftentimes the newspapers will report on what's happening nationally, but really want to hone in on what's happening in the local community. So she calls it, does she call it? Nationalizing? I don't know. It's part of the Marshall Plan, but I'm sure she'll be speaking here at some point, and she can give you more examples on that. But I think it's really a great idea. The one person who's not on this list is Jessica Lowell, and she would be jlowell at centralmaine.com, and she writes this piece in Central Maine Sunday. It's the 5 questions piece. Has anyone here been featured in it? All right, there we go. We have one. Did it change your life? And she puts right on the page every Sunday, if you'd like to be considered for 5 questions. There's her email on there. So you can't just send her an email that says, Jessica, I should be in 5 questions. But what you really need to do is think about what's your angle, what makes you the most interesting business on earth. That's what she wants to hear about. So don't forget to reach out to Jessica Lowell as well. The other thing that I know that's probably critical to many of your businesses, especially if you're in the retail space, or even for Maine General, is to be part of our calendar listing tool. So we recently launched a new tool on our website, and you can find it on centralmaine.com. And it's actually the same database and the same tool that runs on our other websites. So if you post your listing for free on centralmaine.com, it would also be visible to people that would visit Press Herald or people that would visit the Sun Journal. And eventually this tool will be embedded on all the websites throughout Masthead, Maine. So this is just one screenshot that I took yesterday. And if you look at the University of Maine men's basketball listing, that's actually known as an enhanced listing. So you can pay a little bit extra. I think it's $15 a day. And get priority placement, but everyone else that posts a free listing, Art in the Capitol, this aerobics class, community clothes closet, those are all free postings. So you just need to go online and upload your listings. That is free publicity, and people are always coming up to our websites looking for things to do. So that's a great tool. So and feel free to ask questions along the way. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm showing examples from our websites and our products, but they're really from many of our customers, so hoping to give you some good ideas for what's going to be relevant for your business as well. So don't miss the calendar tool. So one of the things that we've gotten pretty good at is offering high-impact digital advertising. And here are a couple of examples. You can call it a homepage takeover. The 2 units that run along the sides, we call them wallpaper. And these are 2 examples, one of the Skowhegan Fair and one when Maine General celebrated their 5-year anniversary. And what was great was they had already produced a video to celebrate their anniversary. Wow. I just merged university and anniversary together. That it is. And yeah, next year it'll be in the dictionary. So it's when a university celebrates their anniversaries. That's apparently. Okay, so anyway, Maine General had produced a video and then embedded it right there in that unit. So when you're already making an investment and creating some of those assets, it's great to figure out where else you can place it for people to watch it. The other little known thing that people don't realize about the Sentinel and the rest of Masthead, Maine is that we offer creative services. So if you're sitting there going, how am I going to get that creative built? We do that. And we have great artists that can do both print ads and also digital ads that have interactive elements. So, and it's more, it's more affordable than one might think. And then they also go on mobile devices. If you remember, approximately 19 minutes ago, I talked about how important mobile is as part of your marketing strategy. So just making sure that you're remembering things. So the other thing that's become really hot right now is sponsored content. Is anybody thinking about sponsored content or have any experience with it? You've experienced seeing it. Very good. So sponsored content, it's custom created content. So if you don't have luck pitching your story to the newsroom, hey, who needs them? You can go out and create your own content and position it. One of the things that we do make sure, though, is if the content is coming from a customer or is not created by the newsroom, that we're really transparent with our readers about what it is. So there are many different flavors of this. And again, we have the resources where we can sit down with you, and we have professional copywriters, editors, and designers who create these experiences for you. So the 2 main places to love for Scarborough and Kennebunk, those were features that ran in the Maine Sunday Telegram. And what we do is once a week, we kind of do a drill down on a community and give people in a fun kind of bulleted way, again, if that's a word, I don't know, but a look into these communities. And so we talk about, like little known facts about the communities that people would find interesting. And those particular features are sponsored by realtors. And the realtors get to embed 2 of their current listings onto it. So it's a way to draw people in. You live in that community. You're thinking about living in that community. It's a fun, quick read and a way to really integrate your marketing message into that content. Another one that we did in the Sentinel was this feature called On Ramp, which people like, they like listy things. So 6 Maine adventures to take with your truck. And we're creating this content on behalf of Varney Chevrolet. And again, they put their marketing message in that. So it's just a nice way for people to kind of stop during your newspaper reading experience and engage with this content. And then an opportunity for the auto dealer to talk about their points of difference. It might be a way to shout out a long-term employee, include your employees a month or something in there. But it's storytelling. That is the consistent message there. Another example of sponsored content, and these are some things that have run in our newspapers. One is Sustaining Maine, and it's really subtle, but this content is brought to you by Lee Auto Malls. So Adam Lee does a lot to support community organizations, and he feels like their stories need to be told. So he took it upon himself to bring to us 6 different nonprofits that he supports, and we went and had somebody on our creative services team tell their stories in a branded feature called Sustaining Maine. And he just closes it in a very subtle way with his logo and his commitment to supporting the community. So really subtle, but good for, he feels good about having a microphone to tell the stories of these groups in the community. The other one is a series that Hannaford did called Chef's Table, where they have their Close to Home program. So they want people to know that when you come to Hannaford, you have an opportunity to buy produce from local farms. And so he did this with chefs and talked to the chefs. This is Carrie Altiero from Cafe Miranda, which is in Rockland, and talked about how he incorporates local produce in his recipes and dishes. So again, think about the stories that you have, the expertise that your business has to share, and think about how you can create a content strategy, and then the places that you can bring that. So the next that I wanted to talk about is customer and community engagement. So how many people are familiar with the best of the best? And are there any best winners out there? That's nice to see. In fact, Seacoast Security was a best of the best winner. Is anyone here from Seacoast today? So this is an example of someone that won the best of the best and how they used it and incorporate it into their marketing. So oftentimes when you walk into retail places, you can see that people proudly display their best of the best awards. But this is a way, and I know that small business owners have a lot on your plate, but man, you got to get out and get the vote. That's your commitment. To be a best of the best winner, it's about marshaling your audience and your supporters and get them to support you. Did you have a question?
I cared about the best of the best because we have gotten calls about them, but they sound like they're a sales pitch rather than an actual, award, which is why we don't, actually. So I don't know if is it a sales pitch or is it an actual reward? That's, that's why I've always confused.
Sure, and it really is one of these sort of kind of blended experiences because it is not produced by the newsroom, it's really produced by the advertising department. But Cindy had a comment that she'd like to share about that.
One of the things that happens with this contest is this is not Market Surveys of America. And some of the confusion comes, we're not the persons that are soliciting you. Our best of the best is a reader's choice contest, and it's completely free. We don't solicit anybody to pay to vote in our contest. Market Surveys of America has a program where they sell you a chance to be voted on, and there's nothing wrong with that. They've done it for years. The confusion's coming because we chose to do it this way because our readers are deciding who's the best of the best. We then give the first place winners a plaque. After the ballot section came out, we have copies over on the table. The voting ends on Friday. We tally the votes, and then in January, the only solicitation we do is we sell a special section when we put the ballot out and then when we do the results, where people can say in the ballot, vote me best of the best, and in the results say, thank you for voting me best of the best. That's the only financial commitment that anybody would make. We do a reception in January for all the first place winners, give you a plaque, so somebody then calls you to sell you a plaque. That's not us, so don't answer them. This is not that. This is free, and you should definitely take advantage of it. It's your chance to.
And really, it's a popularity contest is what it is. So, as a business, you want to encourage your customers to vote for you. So that's what it is when I talk about there is no cost to participate. The only cost is your time to marshal some votes. But if you have a lot of supporters out there, this is a great way to engage your social channels, your email list. Did you want to talk more about it? Yeah.
Do I want to talk
No.
about
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying it is awesome. I used to work with a band that won a few different times, and they had a great time at the event that you have, and, I don't know if we spent any money necessarily.
Yeah, and there's no commitment. I mean, there's absolutely no obligation. You don't get more votes by advertising. I mean, it really is about engaging your base. And to Cindy's point and to your point, the opportunity to hang out with all the winners at the event is just another great business networking opportunity. So it's a way for the winners to come together, and it's bragging rights for your business is really what it is.
It's authentic versus some of the other
Right.
awards situations. It really was very authentic. We didn't,
Yeah. Thank you for that. So one of the other things that we really do well, in my opinion, is cover the local community and make sure that all the things that are part of the traditions are promoted and celebrated in our newspapers. These are two examples that ran just recently. Actually, they were on the same day. Wow, that was a busy day. You could first start your day at the Belgrade Lakes Holiday Stroll and then head on up to Farmington for Chester Greenwood Day, which I think is one of the most fun facts about Maine. The inventor of the earmuff lived just minutes away from us. But these are opportunities where we're creating all the content and listing all the activities and the events that are happening that day, and you can just align your brand message with that. And the prices for the smallest ads, I think, are probably around $25. So it's just it's an inexpensive way to hitch your wagon to many of the wonderful things that happen only in our communities. Two things that Cindy is exceptionally proud of, and so are we, are the business journal that we do once a year. And we just produced our 21st annual. I think it was 64 pages this year. But if you haven't engaged or participated in the Business Journal, obviously I bet many of you have, because you're all here active members of the chambers. But the chamber gives the Business Journal to new residents, to new businesses. So it's a great way to come together as a community and really share what's special about your businesses. And then the other thing we produced, I guess it was Thanksgiving weekend, was our holiday gift guide. And again, these are local opportunities, and with all of the focus around shopping local, Small Business Saturday, putting the holiday gift guide in front of our readers is an easy thing to do. And that also has a digital component. So again, oftentimes when you're thinking about us, it's not just print, but it's really that combination of getting across both platforms. So I also wanted to talk next about when you're thinking about your marketing strategy is what is your event strategy? So a lot of smaller businesses don't have the staff or the budget, quite frankly, to pull off significant events. And as a media company, we have really expanded our role in hosting and executing events. And many of the events, again, it's this extension of storytelling or business networking. We are doing in 2019 a series of Central Maine business breakfasts. We're doing them at UMaine Farmington, and we'll very soon announce the topics. And if you have suggestions for topics, or when the topics are announced and you think that you have expertise as a panelist, you just remember I told you about Jessica Lowell, J. Lowell at centralmaine.com. Reach out to Jessica about your role in participating as a panelist at those events. We did 2 in 2018. One was on commercial real estate, which is a hot topic everywhere in the state, and also workforce development. So, and I know the Chamber has an event coming up on workforce development, so something that we'll continue to talk about and brainstorm ideas on really how to get more folks in for the positions that we have. The other event series that we did in Central Maine is Community Voices, and we held those at Colby College. We did one with J.P. Devine, who was just an absolute treasure. And Amy Calder attempted to moderate that, but lost complete control within 30 seconds. So Travis Mills was on stage. Bill Nemitz from the Press Herald interviewed Travis. That was a great night. And oh my goodness, Travis's sense of humor is ridiculously awesome. George Mitchell was on the stage with us as well. And one of the things that I've seen some companies do is use those events as a customer networking or a customer appreciation opportunity. So you might take some of your customers out for a drink or dinner and then go to one of the Community Voices events. It's a great way to build a connection with your customers. They were at Colby. We did them at Colby, and I think we're slated to do them at Colby again for 2019. So very soon we'll be announcing our lineups. And those also have sponsorship opportunities. So again, it's just another way to extend your brand, so the sponsors get visibility there, but may also have an opportunity to give remarks on stage. So you just got to think about your marketing strategy really holistically, and new ways to either thank your existing customers or put your message in front of new customers. I host a series called Like a Boss in Portland, where I sit down with other CEOs from Maine companies and talk about their leadership principles. So we've learned a lot of fun things about some of the CEOs. Melissa Smith from WEX grew up in Milo, Maine. Deanna Sherman from Dead River grew up in Bar Harbor. And we have these great stories of Maine leaders who came from these small communities and are leading some of Maine's largest employers. And I'm looking forward to, in February, I will be sitting down with President David Green from Colby to talk about all the expansion that's happening at Colby College. Now, while that event is in Portland, I can tell you, man, that Colby network is strong. And I know that they will be out in full force for that event. The photo in the middle is from our Varsity Maine Awards. So I'm sure as small businesses, you know it is an incredible opportunity to tie in with the local sports teams. The passion for high school sports is something that we share across this entire state. So we have launched this brand, Varsity Maine, that runs in all of our newspapers, and once a year we come together to celebrate the best athletes. Not just the best athletes, but it could be a comeback performance. It could be the unsung hero. So it isn't really just the top scorers. It's the kids who really have a lot of heart as well as talent. And what's great about that opportunity is if you're a bigger customer and have a bigger marketing budget, you could sponsor the whole thing statewide. But if you just want to tie in and support the Winslow Black Raiders, am I right on that? Yeah. Yes, all right. No. So that's what they are, right? The Black Raiders? Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, go Winslow. Then when we do our previews, you can tie into a specific team. So I think, that is just something that we as a company are really passionate about too, because as we think about the next generation of newspaper readers, people remember when their pictures are in the paper, right? Nobody's like printing out a page from Facebook and putting it on the fridge or sending it to their grandmother. So having your picture, your name in the paper really just makes a strong connection. So statewide or local, Varsity Maine is something that we're really proud of and tie into. So I just wanted to kind of wrap up with a couple of closing thoughts. First of all, you know what makes a great gift? A subscription to the Morning Sentinel. I just wanted to, I know you guys already have one, but if you're thinking about what to get the person that has everything, consider that. But a couple things that I didn't cover that I just wanted to mention. I hope all of you are on LinkedIn. Who's on LinkedIn? Okay, we got about 80%. LinkedIn is a great place to share the expertise of your business, but also to share stories, not just from the Sentinel. I'm going to cut, on that self-promotion, but anything out there that might be part of your industry that shows your expertise in the industry. By sharing news stories or sharing things from industry publications, it helps to position you as an expert in your field. So spend time. You don't have to do it every day, but man, if you could take 30 minutes a week to think about how to cultivate your LinkedIn following, it's also a great source for recruiting people as well as your business grows. So that's the one place I forget to do, so it's kind of a reminder to me. Also, I didn't mention email. So how many people have an email strategy where you're thinking about how to stay in touch with your existing customers? So that's not enough of you. And I like to say that email is the workhorse of the internet. It really is the lowest cost way for you to build a rapport and stay in constant touch with your customers. I'll give you an example of how we use it. During the election, we have a paywall on our website. So it's expensive to produce journalism, and just giving it away for free on the internet is not a long-term strategy. So we have a paywall. You can read 5 articles a month, and then you'll hit the paywall. If you're a print subscriber, you get unlimited access to our website. So during the election, we believe as part of our role of community service and for civic engagement, we want as many people as possible to get access to our election coverage. So we gave free access throughout the election. And what we did for you to get access was you had to give us your email address. And we were very transparent that we were going to follow up and market to you. So after the election, we sent out a note that said, we hoped you appreciated the coverage. We hope your candidate won, and consider a subscription, and gave them a special offer. So for us as a company, anytime we have an opportunity to get email addresses, that's like gold. We think about it as part of the purchase funnel. So email addresses are at the top, and then having the right message to people, getting them all the way down the bottom to transact with us and actually complete a subscription is really important to us. So think about your email strategy and all the touch points that you have with your customers to build that list. Again, it's a great way to tell your story, to put offers in front of them, to give them seasonal tips if your businesses have, whether it's preparing your home for the winter or keeping mice out of your house. We had a conversation about pests at our table, but people love the expertise that is locked within your business, and using the digital channels is a great way to share that. So I also just wanted to remind you too that all of this, putting your marketing strategy together, can be really, really overwhelming, and especially for smaller businesses where you don't necessarily have web building skills, copywriting skills. We do have that at the newspaper. That is our specialty in storytelling, not just through our newsroom, but also through our creative services department. So please take advantage of that. It's sort of this like hidden secret that we offer those services. But if you're wondering about it or thinking about how to make sense of all of the opportunities out there, that's what our team does, and that's how we've transformed ourselves as a company, is to really act as marketing consultants. So I hope I gave you some good nuggets. Let's have some questions or thoughts about anything that you heard, or if anyone has any tips or suggestions that they would like to share. Karen.
One of the questions I have is on the results.
Yep.
Because there are lots of opportunities, are there ways that you suggest that we can actually track which of the, if we took advantage of 3 of the different things,
Yeah.
what that does, other than say to the customer, how did you hear about us? Because we always do that.
Right, right. So, well, certainly with digital marketing, it's very easy to track. So, we in our own emails that we send out, we track open rates. So, how many people are opening the emails, and then how many people are actually clicking through. So, and for those of you that do have your own email list, that kind of reporting is super easy to get to. Also, if you have an opportunity to do A/B testing, so divide your list in half, send it out with maybe 2 different offers, 2 different headlines, so you can see which one performs better. That's part of the magic of digital marketing, is that you have that opportunity to do some testing on it. And some of the things that I showed, like the homepage takeovers or the wallpaper, we will give you the results on that, like how many people click through. Click-through is one measure, because it doesn't measure, especially if it's a brand building campaign, how many people saw it and take that away. But click-throughs are a way. It's really hard in the newspaper business if you don't have a coupon, you don't have a call to action to report on the results. But to your point, just asking people, it really is the most basic thing. Or putting an offer out there, putting a product with price and item, and actually seeing how that moves. Yeah. It's part art, part science. It always has been, right? Now there's a little bit more science. Kim?
If you put something on the calendar, the events calendar.
Yep.
Will it automatically get in the newspaper, or how do you determine what you're going to pull from the calendar?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I don't think I was clear on that. The question is, if you put something on the online calendar, how do they decide what goes in print? So not everything goes in print. So there is some human curation that happens as a result of that, and part of it is based on the volume of listings that are actually posted. So they are going to pull things that are time sensitive. Obviously, that would have a short shelf life, that might be for the next 7 days. Things that are the absolute must-dos in the community, whether it's the Taste of Waterville. So that's where the listings editor, Stacy Blanchette, uses her news judgment to think what's going to be the most relevant to our audience. So you put it online. It's absolutely 100% guaranteed to be there, provided it's all appropriate. And then the online, the print portion is really up to Stacy to figure out, how do I offer the best assortment for my readers. But the other thing you can do too is, I gave you Stacy's email address. So if you put your posting online, it doesn't hurt you to double back with her as well. And again, think about what's unique about your event that is going to want to get our readers' attention. Question, sir?
More of a story. Tim Forsman with Central Maine Motors Auto Group. I worked with the social media on our team there.
Yeah.
A week ago, I walked into work and I caught just a bit of a conversation with our general manager saying, yes, we have several trucks that will meet that criteria. So I continued on to my desk, and minutes later he's at my desk saying, we have a woman who just won a tender pickup and she's here to pick it up. We want you to do something for her. Well, I immediately jumped on the phone, got Amy, called her on the phone and said, I don't know if this is a story of interest to you, but we have a woman here who just won a $40,000 truck. And Amy was there within the hour and did a wonderful story for the woman, and the woman was very nervous, very anxious. Amy came in, put her very much at ease. Turned out they had graduated from high school together in Skowhegan. And it was a really good story, and got a lot of coverage on our Facebook page.
Yep.
I'm not sure what kind of interest, it may have picked up through the Sentinel itself, but it was excellent service. They showed up immediately. Dave Leeming showed up very quickly.
Yep.
Got a picture of her with her new truck. It was just a really good response from your people.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a great story, and I know that story also, I think, printed in the Sun Journal, and it may have also printed in the Press Herald. I saw it on social media as well, and you were so smart to take what was happening at your business right there and realize there was some urgency to it. And Amy Calder is an absolute treasure, and that is hilarious because, of course, she went to high school with her, right? And those connections are just, to put her at ease when she was all excited about the truck that she won and nervous about it. That's a great story. But see, you have good news instincts. So well done. Well done. All right. Well, I thank you for your time this morning. Here comes Kim. We've got some door prizes to give away.
Thank you, Lisa, and I'm going to ask you to pull 3 cards if you would.
Oh.
And we would like, on behalf of Thomas and the Chamber, here's a gift for you for being here today. Thank you. So our business spotlighters, which if you haven't signed up for 2019 for your business, you should, have donated door prizes. The first one is from Spectrum Generations and Bridges. It's a $50 Olive Garden gift card.
Oh, let's go with the first one I picked.
Yep.
That one.
And that's going to Cheryl Fewelling from Raymond James. Our second gift is a bag from Goodwill Hinckley. It's a Carhartt.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that. Yep.
That's the person from Goodwill.
And it's going to Don Plord from Coldwell Banker Plord Real Estate. And Raymond James has donated a $50 chamber gift certificate, and that is going to Lisa Sandy from Goodwill Hinckley. So again, Lisa, thank you for being here today. If you have employees that you want to have see this, make sure to check out YouTube and Spectrum Cable Channel 1301. Have a happy holiday. We'll see you in January.